Skyrim is a game in which you have the choice to play really in any way you want, in any kind of style you can think of. Want to play as a wizard who can also two-hand a godly weapon? Sure, go ahead. You want to play as the classic stealth archer or play as a dagger-wielding alcoholic? Well, you can do that, but today I wanted to ask, can you beat Skyrim with only your fists at level 1? Here are the rules. 1. We can only deal damage with our fists. 2. Only use shouts when necessary. 3. Can't use any magic. 4. No standing stones. 5. No followers. 6. No glitches. And 7. I played on expert mode, as I found anything lower wasn't really a challenge, but anything higher would have just taken the fun out of it. I decided to play through this run as a Khajiit because of the base plus 10 damage they get to unarmed damage. There is only one item that I know of that can increase this damage, which we will be getting almost straight away. I wanted to challenge myself a little bit more, so I decided to also complete Thieves Guild questline as well as the main quest. Overall, this run took 7.5 hours, just an hour and a half more than my last video. After stealing a much more popular YouTuber's name for a fist-only character, if you know, you know, I almost get beheaded, then just my luck, a dragon gets sent thousands of years into the future to my specific location, only to fuck shit up. I went to Rayloff as this allows you to get heavy armor sooner, and which I knew I was going to need. Side note, beside the gauntlets, I tried to stay in heavy armor for all of the run as I can't upgrade my defense through perks or level ups. After escaping through the cave, I decided to get straight to Bleak Barrow to see what kind of damage we are dealing. I have to say, it was an odd feeling not gunning it straight to the standing stones. After entering into Bleak Barrow, I take care of the 2 bandits at the start, the bandit who is about to kill himself, unknowingly, and take on the wounded frostbite spider. With the spider, I tried to stay on top of it for as long as I could and try and get a few heavy attacks in, but by the end of the fight, whilst victorious, I had close to 0 health, which, let's be real, a simple hour of waiting will fix that. In the never-ending runes, the Draugr really don't pose much of a threat. It's as simple as singling them off if they're in a group, pelting them with attack, and backing away when they attack. That one, Restless Draugr, you know the one I'm on about, gives me grief in a regular playthrough, so in this instance I just ran away. We picklock a chest and get our first level up before taking on the Draugr Overlord, after we've learned the first shout, Unrelenting Force. The Overlord gives me a bit of trouble to be honest, but I managed to get him on my second attempt and pick up the Dragonstone for Farfinger. After leaving the dungeon, I make my way straight for Whiterun, where I run into some vampires, steal some veggies and buy some potions of minor healing from a fellow Khajiit before getting the Uber to Riften in order to get the only damage increase we will get this entire run. While here, I decided to get started on the Thieves Guild questline as I was going to have to sooner rather than later, and plus we needed to go down to the Ratway anyway to get our damage increasing item. After stealing Messy's ring and planting it on Bran Sheen, I make my way to the Ragged Flagon, stopping off on the way to pick up the gloves of the pugilist. With an armor rating of 6, it boasts a unique enchantment of doing 10 additional damage with unarmed strikes. I test them out on this high life, and while I know she's not wearing any armor, we literally beat her to a pulp. I chat to Brynjolf and I'm told to bully a few shopkeepers. After offering to visit Kirava's family in Morrowind, she coughs up the gold. I steal a shrine of Diabella. I should say that during this run, that while I might not have showed it, I was always trying to pick up food and purchase health potions, as I was weary for later fights in the game and wanted to be stocked up, such as the first Alduin fight and soon. Word has gotten around that I'm cyberbullying people now, so Hersey Bonyband just gave me his life savings right up front. I let Brynny know what's up and he gave me one of the most useless items to us. I steal all I can from the guild straight away and listen to Mercer Frey's speech. I talk to Gerda and make my way to Whiterun to let Jarl Balkov know what the sus is. As I've already gotten the Dragonstone, we can make our way straight upstairs to get intimidated by 2 children.
I'm too young to train with the sword, so I practice with my fists.
One of the new servants? Remember that I like my meat rare.
Because I am the actual chosen one, I can now invest my money into the city of Whiterun and get given a useless item yet again. In a bit of a plot twist, I decided to go and get the Elder Scroll now, as I should have waited until my armor was a bit better. I just really did not want to go through this dungeon at all. After taking on a Hrothgar, I make my way to Septimus Sigma so he can tell me where I can go and get fucked. I fast travel back to Winterhold and make a sprint for Alfton Glacial Ruins, which will lead me to Blackreach. This place was a living hell. I knew I wasn't going to be able to fight anything or anyone in here, so I just try and sprint my way through. The key word being try. I take on a spider worker to see what my damage is, and you know what? Fuck that. I hit Jadar just because and keep on running, chugging them potions or food when I could. Because I cannot wait down here with all of the enemies, I really try to just sprint as fast as possible. When I get to the big windy stairs, I try to just jump down as fast as possible. Attempt 1, died by frost. Attempt 2, we die from fall damage after making it to the bottom. Attempt 3, we die from fall damage again. Attempt 4, and I managed to make it down to the bottom. Now is the next problem. The sheer amount of Thalmor in this area is disgusting. I died twice trying to get into the next area, then after pulling the lever and a quick save, I yet again die not once, not twice, but 4 times after finally getting through. As per usual, I just balled straight to Blackreach, not even stopping to smell a flower. I grab a dwarven helmet, then make my way to the easiest puzzle in the game. I mean, it's literally going from right to left. After escaping literal hell, I decided to continue on with the Thieves Guild questline and go looting. I used the sewer entrance to gain access to the house undetected. Once I picked the lock to the house, I tried to sneak around the mercenaries, but I had enough food to heal me during the fight and took them out no bother. I made my way down and through the basement and I get the deed of the sale. I then make my way out of the house the same way I entered and went to burn the beehives, but oh wait, I can't burn it with my fists, or can I? You see, when you equip the flame spell but you don't cast it, anything your hands touch will actually burn. So we can burn down the hives without actually using the magic, just equipping it. I make my way back to the Thieves Guild to show Brynjolf what a good job I did. I make my way to Maven Blackbriar, who then tells me to meet up with her dealer in Whiterun. He informs me that not only is the local tavern infested with rats, or that it houses a maniac in its basement, but that we must poison the rat's nest and his supply of mead so we can get him thrown in the slammer. I knew I was going to be fucked in this part, so I really just tried to hightail it through as fast as possible. Now, I didn't do this for every area of the game, but parts where I knew I couldn't survive, this is exactly what I did. When the maniac followed me out of the area, it gave me a heart attack, but much like the Draugr, when he is alone, he is no threat. We poisoned the mead and watched Sabjorn get arrested. I steal what I can from the house and now I decide to go to the western Watchtower. For those who don't know, you won't find any dragons out in the world until you've completed this mission. After thinking on the hot shit and trying to face this dragon up front, my health gets melted and then... yeah. Second attempt and it's basically an instant death. After realizing that this is not going to be like a normal run, I make my way into the tower so I can wait for Irileth and the guards to essentially kill him for me. I loot the bodies for any healing items I may find and make my way to the dragon while he's distracted, and just unload my fist on him till he is no more. I quickly fast travel the Dragon's Reach as you can't after the Greybeard shout. I go back to Maven to let her know what the fuck was going on, and she, like many others, gives me yet another useless reward. I make my way down to the Thieves Guild and get told to go talk to Mercer Frey, as he is not the reason the guild is cursed. He tells me to find Gullamai in Solitude to find out who bought the farm. I unload my inventory for some quick cash so I can buy as many health potions as possible and a blacksmithing potion. I'll go up to Dragon's Reach so I can cook the food I've been collecting this whole time, which if I had not thought of this, the run would have easily died. After upgrading what armor I can, I make my way to Solitude to bribe Gullamai, who in return bribes me with lies, which as we all know is the worst sin of all. I steal the key off him to get into the warehouse and buy some potions from the cat outside the city. We decide to tail him down through the docks and through the warehouse. After going in, I decide to just skip this part and swim across to where the final location is in this quote-unquote dungeon. I have a few close calls going through the cave, but I make my way through and steal as much as I can for my own health/stamina recovery, such as wine and food. Going into this run, I'd never really used food to regain health and stamina, but without this, the run would have seriously not lasted any longer than the first Alduin fight. I narrowly take out the last few bandits and there is no sign of the lizard. And yes, this is because I broke the sequence. So I exit the cave, not forgetting to slaughter the innocent Horkers on my way out to fast travel back to the entrance, and then make my way back to the same location to interrogate Lizard Boy. After he spilled the tea to us and told us about Carlala, I decided to take care of him, completely forgetting I was told not to. After returning to Mercer, he scolds me and withholds my pay. He lets me know that Carlala killed the previous guild master and escaped, so he wants to lead us into the dungeon where it all began to get the jump on her. However, before continuing on this quest line, I decided to go back to the main quest and make my way to High Hrothgar. Usually I make my way around the mountain and go from Iverstead, but this time I decided to just try and scale the mountain. Beforehand, I took on some bandits to try and get an armor improvement, and this is where I found one of the funniest jokes in this entire game. After not getting a single upgraded item from these miserable bandits, I make my way towards a Stormcloak camp that is near, where for some reason they don't get mad at me for stealing a horse, and for the first time ever in the 13 years I've been playing this game, I rode a horse up the side of the mountain. I was up in High Hrothgar in a record time, taking under a minute and a half. I skipped through the dialogue, make sure to mess up their decorating. They teach me what I need to know, and who was this? A hired took came out of literally nowhere and got smashed down by the Greybeards. Has anyone seen this happen before? I was still able to loot him and attack him, but he was still standing up. Anyway, I make my way back to the Whiterun stable so I can get a lift of Morthal so I can end their Oost and Graf, which at first included a few close calls and death on more than one occasion. But after taking the time to actually beat down each enemy individually, I looted up and made my way further into the dungeon. It was about here I realised the Draugr were no issue, but any Draugr with a word before their name I knew I was doomed. It was going to cost me some health items most of the time. After mandatory having to use my new shout, I took on the spiders and got the horn of Oh no, it turns out it was stolen by a mammal. After returning to Riverwood, I'm greeted not only by my faithful stolen horse, but also their occultists from the Dragonborn DLC. I knew they were going to be a pain in the ass, so I sell what I can to Lucan and steal some cheese before being lured into the creepy woman's hidden dungeon, where I am assuming no one will be able to hear me scream. Delvin informs me that a dragon is going to attack a little winter village next, so I make my way to Windhelm and travel south to the quaint village of Kindsgrove, which for all respected purposes, I'm assuming is only here for this fight, as besides this part of the main story, I have never not once stepped foot in this town and I most likely never will. I bully Salkinir as he is getting out of his grave, as I knew this was my only chance, but he beat me on my first attempt, and on my second attempt I make sure to heal when I can, and he goes down just as usual, before even being able to spread his wings. Delphine lets me know what the source is so I can head back to High Hrothgar and tell I'm done dusted with him for now. After getting shouted at for a few minutes by four decrepit old men, I make my way back to Dolphin, where she informs me that I'm going to sneak into the Thalmor Embassy as a guest. I fast travel to Solitude to give Malborn my armor, food, potions, and lockpicks. Delvo gave me a party clothes and stole my possessions before sending me up the mountain. I persuade Razorman with a drink to cause a distraction so I could sneak around the Thalmor Embassy to find out what they know about the dragons coming back. I was nervous for this part as I was on expert difficulty, but my main tactic was to just rush down any mages as they do disgusting damage and they have incredible range. I get my gear back and just started going ham in the first 3 encounters. Thankfully the wizard didn't come down until they were dead. I made sure to quick save when I went outside as I knew the mage was going to ruin my day, so I rush him down, heal up, then take care of the 2 Thalmor soldiers. When I enter the building, I again rush down the mage as he can spawn Atronox and does high levels of damage. After taking care of my problem, I snuck downstairs to find out they're looking for Blades members Esbern, who we will get to love shortly. I like to do this cheese with these 2 guards here. I killed a prisoner only to then realise he was a member of the Thieves Guild. Oh well, whatever. I tried to take on the Frost Troll and no, I'm going back to Riverwood to let D know the tea with Ez. I decided to go meet up with Mercer where it all began, aka a random dungeon south of Winterhold. After almost getting demolished by ice, I meet up with Mercer and he's acting strange. Turns out because I killed Lizard Boy and Prison Man, I have to cough up 1,000 gold just to keep going on with the quest. Genuinely, I have never seen this before, so I was so confused. After coughing up a grand, I make my way back to Mercer where Skyrim does what Skyrim does best and breaks. The Frey just refuses to open the door. After quick saving and loading, attacking and loading, and a restart, he would not open the door, so I just used console commands to open it to continue the quest line. Yes, challenge 1 failed, shoot me with an arrow. Oh wait, I wasn't being serious. What the hell is in this stuff? After learning the truth about Kailala, she turns invisible and Mercer Frey, much like killing his previous guildmaster, kills me too. Well, he would have if we weren't the main character. Carl's arrow actually saved us as it slowed down my heart enough to not bleed out. Carly sends me the Winterhold to chat to Enthier about Gallus's journal, who then sends me the Marcat so I can get it translated. As I am a thief and role-playing is everyone's favourite time, I just pickpocket the key from the wizard dude and sneak my way into his dwarven museum as we can get the journal translated because for some cocky reason it's written in Falmer. With the sheer amount of guards in this next area, I must fucking hightail it through, chugging potions of health, cheese and wine, and just didn't stop moving. I managed to get up to the tower and take an etching of the Falmer alphabet so I can have the journal translated. I escape by jumping down a waterfall and every guard is chasing me. This is when I saw the most terrifying sight ever. Countless guards swarm me as I try to leave and my health drops. I managed to escape just about by chugging cheese, crossing the river and running down the road. If you didn't know, just south of Marcat there is a boat where you can pick up some rare gems to sell for easy early money, and then I mark Cartspire on the map for later, ignoring all the Forsworn as they will wipe me out. I head back to Winterhold to have the journal translated, where we learn that Mercer has been stealing from the guild for years. I head back to Riften to meet Carl at the Ragged Flagon, where she tells the guild the truth about what happened with Mercer and has the journal translated as proof. After learning of what Mercer did, we checked the vault and everything was missing. While here, I decide to rat away into the depths and get Esbern. The Thalmor weren't too much trouble, but they did cause me a few health potions. After telling Esbern about dragons and that the Thalmor are after him, he decided to escape with me back to Riverwood to meet up with Dell Laptop. Esbern sent us to Skyhaven Temple to find the magical Wall of Truth. I make my way back to Riften to sneak into Mercer's home, not very sneakily though. After I managed to get into the house, there are bandits here for some reason. Anyway, once I make it down to the basement through the wardrobe, I die. So let's do it again, but remember the quick save this time maybe? I steal Mercer's stuff and I find his evil mastermind plans. Conveniently, he has a tunnel straight to the Thieves Guild from his house where I am attacked by a vagrant out of nowhere. I show Brian the plan and he informs me Mercer is going to be set up for life with this last heist, so we have to kill him. I fast travel to Cartshire where I meet up with Ed and Dolphin and solve a puzzle older than time itself. I was actually worried about this part of the game as I've had it bug out with me a couple of times and I didn't want to have to use console commands again. Thankfully, all went smooth and I acquired my final set of armour, that is besides the gauntlets, the blade armour, boosting me from an armour rating of 78 to 92. Eddie reads the Wall of Destiny and informs us that there is only one way to take down Alduin, with a shout no less. Knowing that I was about to go and do the first Alduin fight, I was nervous. Aaron Garnier is salty that I want to talk to the manager. I think this is because he knows that I'm a cat now, but I can't be sure. After having to use the third mandatory shout Clear Skies, I make my way up the mountain to find Optimus Prime is actually a dragon. He asked me to use my fourth mandatory shout, so I spray with fire, and as I got the Elder Scroll earlier on, I read it after chatting to him and I'm sent back in time to witness Alduin being sent forward in time. I learned Dragon Rend, my fifth mandatory shout after, for all intents and purposes, is an unskippable cutscene. I use this to make Alduin land and oh fuck. You see that damage? No, seriously, do you? Because I fucking didn't at first. I knew this was going to be a fight of nutrition, constantly attacking and healing. Being my first attempt, I wanted to give it everything I had. Every time my health depleted, I made sure to heal up straight away, and would you look at that? First try... Oh, wait, never mind, of course. Never fucking mind. Second attempt, I nearly beat him again, but due to poor positioning, I died just at the last second again. I'm sure you can imagine my frustration, and remember, we're still on expert mode with no damage and base armor. On my third attempt, I tried to stay more so towards the side and keep shooting at him, as it slightly stun locks him. We managed to best him on our third attempt, making sure to constantly heal ourselves up. Now I have to talk to either Arngir, Mario, or Esbert. So I talk to Mario and he tells me to trap a Dragon's Reach in a dragon in Whiterun, as that is why it was constructed in the first place. As I knew this was going to lead me to the table talk, I went back to meet Brynjolf and Carlia behind Riften, where we get the slickest, sickest armor in the entire game, the Nightingale set. We get initiated into the Nightingales and we're off to stop Mercury in retrograde. Before we go off, Brynjolf informs me that I should take lead of the Thieves Guild once this is all over, and I agree. I actually take a quick trip to Whiterun and pickpocket a ring of stamina from Aerithil and convince Balgrove to organise the Peace Council with the Yellowbeards. At first they're like no, then they're like yeah sure, so we pursue Tullius and some racists to come to the Peace Council. Blah blah blah, and we're done. Esbern tells us to kill Parthenax and I can't bring myself to do it, so I learn a shout from him and punch him in the jaw, in which after a few seconds no one seemed to care. I fast travelled back to where we got our horse all the way back at the start of the video, where I made haste to meet up with Brian and Carl to take down Mercer. This was a fight I was genuinely worried about. I knew he could be tanky and drain my health, but I was determined to kill him on expert mode as it's a 1v1. We found him at the end of the cave, and first attempt he butchers me in second. Second attempt I try to hide and attack, but after taking 1 or 2 hits and almost dying, I run away. He then proceeds to slaughter me seconds later. Third attempt and yeah. On the fourth attempt I tried hiding and this didn't work. I decided to just rush him, and this is where I find my tactic. Where he goes invisible, he doesn't attack, so I have advantage of this in my next attempt. Waiting for him to go invisible and I just fucking stay on top of him, beating him until he goes down. I loot his body to get the big eye and the key to Lothric Castle. After the room floods up, a hole conveniently collapses in the ceiling, letting us escape. Carlia lets us know that we must return the key to the Twilight Sepulchre so that the balance can be restored. I get the card to Falkreath where I just run in a straight line more or less to the Twilight Sucker. I hadn't a clue what I was facing in this area, so I went in with caution after talking to Gallus before going in. I have to follow the Pilgrim's Path, aka another dungeon, but instead of skeletons, it's Nightingale Sentinels who take me out in about 2 hits. So I just ran through the area as fast as I could, making sure to heal after every attack. I spin through the dark path as fast as I can and open up the door behind the statue of Nocturnal, where I am met by a quick death. The next time I'm more careful going through and survive. Shortly after I fall down a hall, while there is no escape, where all of a sudden I use the magical key to open up the floor and return to the Ebon Mere, where Nocturnal, the queen of demonetization, thanks me and instructs me to pick up a random effect I can do once a day. Gallus and Carl are reunited once more, so we head back to the Thieves Guild to officially close out the quest line and become the leader of the guild. To sum up the next 30 minutes of the run, I stocked up on potions, trapped the dragon, freed the dragon, rode the dragon, said bye to the dragon, run past all the Draugr and dragons and get inside the last dungeon of the run. We take care of all the Draugr in the dungeon, solve the puzzle made for 3 and older, and dumped it to the portal into Sovngarde, where I cheese Sun, run into my new friends, clear the sky, make Sun mad, and give Alduin the final blow. In the end, with leveling up, we would have been level 8. We used 167 potions, never used a spell, killed 257 lives in total with no favourite weapon at all, and it took 33 days in-game or 7.5 hours of gameplay. So to answer the question we asked oh so long ago, yes, you can beat Skyrim with only your fist to level 1. If you have any suggestions for runs, please leave them in the comments, and with that, I've been Dara, and have a good day.